so much torque. You just ride on a wave of torque. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're gonna be going over a 2021 Ram 2500 Laramie with the Cummins diesel. But first and foremost, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Dodge Ram here in Sandy for giving me some time with the truck. Check out their inventory on the link below. Let's get straight into the video. Under the hood of the 2500 Laramie, we have a 6.7 liter inline six diesel, obviously known as the Cummins, that goes through a 6-speed automatic transmission known as the 68 RFE. Power outputs are 370 horsepower and then 850 pound-feet of torque. Over the front end of the Laramie, so first and foremost, you can see you've got the blacked out 2500 heavy duty badge here on the side, and then the headlights have also been blacked out. You've got full LEDs here with the LED reflector lights. If you're wondering why there's so many blacked out elements, this is the night package, so it blacks out the grille. You've got the headlights, you've got the badging as well, and then you guys can see the fog lights down here with the parking sensors, blacked out tow hooks on top of that, and then also part of the night package, it makes the bumpers basically body colored, so everything's body colored or blacked out with this package. But that's the front end on the Laramie. Now coming around the side here, we've got 285mm tires on 20-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well. And the observant viewer might have noticed that this truck does have blue shocks here at the front because it does have the off-road package, which is pretty neat. You've got the Cummins badge here on the side and then the Ram badge. Again, those are all blacked out. This one does have the trailer mirrors, so they're just the flip-up mirrors. Pretty cool little function with that. But other than that, here is your full side view on the 2021 Ram 2500. Going to the bed of the 2500. So first and foremost, this does not have a bed liner. You can get it as an option from the factory. You can get it after the fact, whichever you prefer. And then you can see this one does not have the LED light group, but it does have all of the plugins. It's got a full power outlet back here, but it's got all the plugins for towing because this one does have the fifth wheel prep group. Now in terms of the bed size, this is a 6'4" bed, and then the payload capacity on this specific truck is just over 2,100 pounds. Now let's go over the rear end of the 2500 Laramie. So you guys can see you've got the full LED lights back here, and then you've got the 4x4 off-road sticker there because this one does have a 4x4 off-road package. All of your blacked out badging here along the rest of the rear. Parking sensors are integrated just down below. If you guys are wondering, towing capacity is right around 17,000 pounds with the 2500. And other than that, the back end is pretty simple, and let's head into the cab. Now let's go over the door panel here in the Laramie 2500. So you've got soft touch where you're going to rest your arm with nice stitching. And then you guys can see you've got the suede insert right here with the black trim just up above. More stitching here on the top portion. And then here are the seats in the back of the Laramie. So you've got these massive headrests. You got the gray piping here with the suede inserts just right there. And then you've got perforations here all throughout the center. And then you've got more of that gray piping with the suede. You do get these little ice buckets here because this is the crew cab. And then underneath there's some under-seat storage that comes with the truck as well. But let's actually pop in so you guys can see room. So this truck doesn't have side steps, so got to kind of step up quite a bit just to get inside this truck. If you guys are wondering, I'm 5'11". I've got a good amount of headroom, and then legroom's good as well. You guys can see over here you've got a little charging area, so you've got a full power outlet and some USBs as well. And then this pulls down to be some cup holders. And the last thing I want to mention is so obviously I've got to pop out, but here is the shocks here in the rear that come with the off-road package, and you guys can see the tires as well, but that's all for the back, so see ya! Now here's the door panel in the front of the Laramie. So again, you've got all the soft touch all here with the suede insert, and you've got the black trim just above with more stitching. This truck does come with memory seats. You've got all the window controls in here. The mirrors are power folding, so you just press that, that'll fold in the mirrors. You've got two sets of mirror adjustments. You've got the regular mirror adjustments, and then if you press that button right there, that'll let you adjust the little convex mirror on the side. So all of it is power adjustable. Got the little Ram plaque down below. And then here are the seats at the front. So again, you've got the black leather here with the suede insert. You've got the Laramie there at the top, and then you can see the perforations all here in the center portion with the gray piping. Power adjustments are on the side of the seat, and then here's the pedal layout just down below. You see a little hood latch release right there as well, and then you've got your light controls here. You've got your fog lights and then your cargo light. The pedals are power adjustable. That's just on the side of the steering wheel, but the steering wheel itself is manually adjustable. And there's one more look before we pop inside. Here is the steering wheel with the Laramie. So you can see you've got smooth leather all around, and then you've got the darker stitching there on the center portion. And then you've got your cruise control over here on this side, and then you've got the gear limiter just down below it. Over here, you've got the controls for the center stack, your voice command controls, phone controls. There are radio controls on the back of the steering wheel as well. And then this does come with the column shifter. The actuation on it's actually really good. It's really easy to use. And then over here, you've got little stock for the turn signal and then the windshield wipers as well. But that is everything for the steering wheel on the Laramie. Now here's the center stack, and sorry that the RPMs are pretty much destroyed because of the sunlight, but other than the horrible glare right now, you guys can see you've got the speed over on the other side, and then there in the center screen, there's a couple different menus that you can scroll through. My favorite is a little off-road status, but typically the menu I have when I'm on these trucks is just the digital speedometer, because I just like seeing the digital readout versus the analog readout to the side. But you basically can get any bit of information that you want on the truck from the center stack, so it's a pretty good little system in general. Now here is the whole center infotainment system display. You've got your stability control and hazard lights there at the top. Analog climate controls flank either side. This does come with a dual zone climate. You've got your analog radio controls right next to it. And then you can see over here, you've got a bunch of buttons. So you've got your auxiliary switch buttons right here in this little area. And then this is for the parking sensors in the rear to turn those off. You've got the parking sensors in the front to turn those off as well. Your diesel exhaust brake, your tow haul mode, trailer brakes are already integrated in this area. And then before we go over the infotainment system right next to it, you guys can see that you've got the drive line select. So you've got your two-wheel drive, your four-wheel high, and then your four-wheel low, and then the true neutral with the hill descent control that comes as part of the off-road package. Now, as for the 12-inch display itself, first off, if we pop the truck into reverse, you guys can see the backup camera will pop up, and then you do have a zoom in function. The trajectory lines do turn with the steering wheel. Now, this particular truck is not equipped with a 360 camera, so if you go to the controls tab, you can see you just have the regular backup camera. You do get heated and ventilated seats though, and then this truck does come with navigation as standard, which is pretty cool. But you guys know the 12-inch display response time on it's really good. It's absolutely massive. And then something they've added for 21 is the off-road pages. So they pretty much just took this from the Jeeps and they've put it in the trucks now, which, I mean, it just shows you a couple of things you guys saw on the center stack right there. I think it's cool they at least added a truck though with it. But you can see you've got your pitch and roll accessory gauges and all that kind of stuff. So nothing too crazy with that. Now this particular Ram has a bench seat, and can I get a God bless bench seats? Anyways, you guys can see there's some storage space in there with a 12 volt and then a coin holder as well. Bunch of cup holders, soft touch on the top portion, and then you can pick it up obviously to be a third seat. And then underneath there's actually some storage space, so it's pretty practical. But with the bench seat you also get some more storage here, so even though you don't have a center console, you still have tons of storage. And then yes, you've got a bunch of auxiliary ports and then USB, or bunch of USBs and then auxiliary ports down there, sorry, backwards, and then a power outlet just over here on the other side. And then speaking of storage, we've got the glove box. It says Laramie at the top. You can see it's a dual glove box. Again, decent amount of storage. And then you can see all the stitching there at the top. Top here we do have a power sliding window for the rear. Nothing too crazy with that. And then you've got a traditional mirror, and then this one doesn't have a sunroof, but full black headliner for the Laramie. Now that we're done going over the interior on this particular truck, let's quickly get into the pricing. So in terms of pricing, this Laramie in the Night Edition package stickers for about $72,000 before any type of market adjustment. That being said though, let's take this Laramie Night Edition out and see how it drives. Quickly talk about visibility before we set off here in the Laramie. So you guys can see visibility of the hood. Obviously it takes a second to get used to because it's a big diesel truck, but for a truck it's about average. And I should probably clean off the hood a little, or sorry, the windows. There's your visibility through both the mirrors. They do have blind spot monitoring, and here's all throughout the rest of the rear. So visibility in general is really good with this truck. And that being said, let's set off. So we are setting off here in the 2021 Ram 2500 Laramie, and this has pretty much been a carryover from last year. They made some changes with the half tons, but obviously with the heavy duties, a lot of the stuff is just pretty much a carryover. It's still a really good truck. It's just there's not a whole lot of changes with the truck itself. And I don't know why this Ford's pulling out so slowly. And of course they're, you know, they saw me, but you know, it's Utah, so this is kind of what you got to expect from these drivers here. But yeah, so the ride quality is still the same. This one has the coil suspension. Obviously, if you go for the 3500, you get the leaf springs. This coil suspension is definitely smoother than the 3500, but there's not as much of a difference as there used to be between the two trucks. Both these trucks, they ride rougher compared to like a half ton. That's kind of the name of the game with heavy duty trucks. See, I don't even know what this person's doing. Anyways, that's kind of the name of the game with heavy duty trucks. And then the other part of the thing with heavy duty trucks is the fact that you're going to get a little bit more noise from the engine, but it's really good sounds. I love the sounds that come from the diesel engine. And then on top of that, you're going to get a little bit more road noise as well, because it kind of bumps all over the place. But it's not bad by any means. It just takes a second to get used to it, and then once you get used to it, life is good. And then in terms of the steering, obviously this is a big, heavy truck, but it doesn't handle bad by any means. It definitely masks its weight pretty well. I mean, it's a massive truck, but it doesn't feel nearly as big as you would expect. And then in terms of the brakes, you definitely have to press into them pretty hard. Again, that's most diesel trucks. They kind of have them set up that way. So just kind of get used to that and understand that with a truck that you're going to have to put quite a bit of pressure into the brake pedal for anything to really happen. Torque is great. So this is our kind of our minor acceleration. You guys can see it just gets up and goes at a really good pace. And then pressing on the brakes again, yeah, you just really have to get into them. But let's get our, well, now let's get our full-blown acceleration here, Mr. U-turn. So much torque. You just ride on a wave of torque, and even if you're not in the proper gear, it's still just so good. And you guys can see if I press down, yeah, all it is just torque, torque, torque. And that'll get me into summing things up with this 2500. So first and foremost, from an exterior styling perspective, I feel like this Laramie night package is just absolutely beautiful. It's a really good looking sporty truck. And so if you want a really cool sporty looking truck, go for this night edition. Interior perspective, the Laramie is still really nice. The technology is good with the truck as well. Overall, it's a modern truck and it's got all the stuff that you need. And then in terms of the power with the truck, so 370 horsepower, 850 pound-feet of torque, massive numbers. I've said this before, I feel like you really don't need more than 800 pound-feet of torque with a diesel truck. Like anything above that's just overkill. And so this truck feels plenty fast to me. I understand some people want a little bit more. I feel like this is sufficient. However, if I were to recommend one change for Ram, it'd be cool if you could get the Ison in this. Obviously, it's not going to do crazy stuff with the towing capacity, but I know there's some people out there that want 2500s with an Ison, and so it'd be cool if Ram offered that. It's not necessarily a necessity. It would just be cool. And that's all. That is going to sum things up with our video on this 2021 Ram 2500 Laramie Night Edition. And again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Dodge Ram here in Sandy for giving me some time with this truck. Check out their inventory in the link below. I'll see all of you in that next video.